that it's appointed unto men to die once, and then to face God's judgment. We all stand before a holy God and give an account for our life, what we've done, whether good or bad. The Bible says that the wages of sin is death. Oh, the wages of sin is death. The wages of sexual immorality is death. The wages of abortion is death. The wages of homosexuality is death. But the gift of God is eternal life.
We got a complaint on you guys.
Sure.
He stopped it. I know you guys are well aware of what you can and can't do.
Yeah.
Okay, you cannot block any sidewalks. Okay, you cannot approach people. If they come up to you and they ask questions regarding why you're here, feel free to do whatever they want. But what he's doing right there, he cannot do.
He can't.
No, he is causing a disturbance right now.
If he continues to do that, what will happen?
He's going to get a citation.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, we'll stop.
I know you guys have done your homework as far as what you can and can't do, where you can and can't stand. Okay, and
we'll definitely stop.
I'm all for whatever you guys want to do, but you know.
Sure. Yeah, we'll stop, but we'll get in contact with our attorneys, and then there'll probably be a civil suit against. If that's fine, because you're saying that a man can't stand on a street corner and preach, right?
I'm not saying that. Okay. And I'm not going to buy into this filming thing. Okay. I'm just telling you right now what you can and can't do. Like you said, like I said, you've done your homework.
Right. And so I asked, what is he doing that's wrong? That's what I'm wondering.
Does everybody want to hear that? Absolutely not. Okay.
Do you have a supervisor?
Yes, I do.
Could you call him down here?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Partner there requested to have a supervisor come down. Okay. Like I explained to him, you guys have every right to be down here protesting, okay, and doing whatever you do. But there are certain rules that you have to follow. You can't block any sidewalks, thoroughways, anything like that. And you can't approach people. If they come up to you and ask you questions, then feel free to explain why you're here, okay? So he requested a supervisor to come down here, and he's on his way down. It's going to be a short time before he shows up. Okay. If any laws are broke, citations obviously will be issued. Okay. So, like I said, it'll be a few minutes.
Okay.
So
we'll talk to him.
Bear with us and hang tight.
Who that guy is. Hi. Good.
Some questions from you, or?
Well, yeah, he was saying that, you know, you guys, obviously I've talked to the city attorney, I've talked to the chief of police, sending emails trying to understand, you know, what are my legal rights. And I know that we can't block the sidewalk.
Correct.
You know, we can't, what Bob Osleson called it was harassment, which is like if I go to hand someone something and they say no, I can't continue going down and trying to get them to do that. So I know all that. But then this Officer Williams said my friend was preaching, open up on that box, and said that he couldn't do that.
He can preach at a regular level like we're talking right now. He can't yell and scream or be loud and that type of stuff. That's disorderly conduct under Minnesota state statute.
Okay.
So him talking, like at our normal level right now, preaching, if somebody approached him, wants to talk about the word, absolutely, we do that all day long. But as soon as you start raising your voice, and you start making a scene, that turns into disorderly conduct. You can actually be cited or even arrested.
Sure, we'll stop, okay? But can I talk to you about this?
Absolutely.
Okay, because as this gentleman says, I have done my research and I've talked to my legal counsel. And I've got, like for example, I've got Supreme Court cases that talk about that you are allowed to raise your voice in the streets to be heard, and not just a regular conversation. That the freedom of speech is a freedom of right to be heard. And so that I'm going to stop, because the last thing I want is to get a citation, to get arrested. But understand, then we'll take this to our legal counsel to have them look at this, because I have, you know, this man said that Williams said that someone called and complained.
Yes.
And there's a Supreme Court says that just because someone heard what you were saying or something, that's not, it's called a veto. There's no heckler veto, meaning someone can't stop your free, we still have the freedom of speech, the First Amendment right to stand on the street. And it's my understanding of disorderly conduct based from legal counsel is it has to be fighting words that are fighting words. It's not just, you know, because we're doing freedom of speech. That's my stance. Well, but I understand we've had plenty of people that walk by and agree with what we're doing. So just because that person in the red says they don't want to hear it, but that person in the gray says they do want to hear it, what it falls under is First Amendment rights of free speech. That's where my stance is.
If you raise your voice a little bit, and you don't have people across the street turning to look at you and bothering them while they're eating and doing that type of stuff, that's not a problem. But as soon as people start looking around and doing that type of stuff, that's becoming disorderly. I mean,
if someone looks at me, it's disorderly?
Well,
is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if you're causing a disturbance, meaning that there's people that are, you know, normal, like we're having a normal conversation right now. Most people aren't looking at us and wondering what's going on, doing that type of stuff. They might because we're
police. I was going to say, okay, we're in
uniforms and that we're the police and that type of stuff. But if you and I were just in civilian clothes standing here talking, people aren't going to really probably pay attention to us. They might because there's a big sign next to us. Sure. But moreover than that, probably not.
Sure.
But when you start raising your voice and you start drawing attention, you start, and people right here standing here, you know, he's reading this, sitting here reading this, whatever he's doing.
Well, he's working there.
So
I know what you're saying.
The bottom line comes, I mean, if it's reasonable, we don't have a problem. I mean, you can sit here and preach your word all day. I mean, you can put the right to freedom of speech. You can talk about whatever your message is.
Right, I understand that.
But
you're saying to elevate your
yes, elevating your voice and becoming disorderly, meaning that you're infringing on the other people's rights to just have a normal conversation or have a normal dinner or have whatever. That's not acceptable. That's where that disorderly conduct statute falls under.
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
the hazard it poses because you got traffic going by here. They don't hear what you're saying. It's going to draw their attention and it can cause an accident. That's where when it gets so loud that it's.
Sure. No, I completely understand what you guys say, and I mean no disrespect when I say this. I completely disagree with what you're saying, and we're going to stop. Just because I've got, I mean, right here there's one that says loud and boisterous language is not unconstitutional. That's a federal court case. It's already been determined that loud and boisterous language is not unconstitutional. That loud and boisterous language, speaking above, elevating your voice, is freedom of speech, and that's not unconstitutional. It's not disorderly conduct. Now, I'm fine. Like I said, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to continue doing that.
It depends on the context of that case is, too. I mean, there's a difference between on the front steps of the Capitol and out here in a street corner.
Right, I was told we were doing this outside of a church in a neighborhood, and the guy came and said it was.
Everything I've seen you guys do since I got here, you're perfectly fine.
Right, and I was told by an officer, who was that guy outside of the Peace Church? We were doing this. He said you couldn't do it in a neighborhood, but you can go do it down in Canal Park. So we come down in Canal Park, the same thing's told. That's why I sent a letter to Bob Oslison. I sent a letter to your chief, the assistant city attorney. The chief of police. I've sent all these letters asking, and no one responds to me like this gentleman said, and he's right, and I'm not boasting. I've done my research, and I just know I'm going to talk to my.
It's good that you've done your research. I mean, I prefer to have people who've done their research because they have to educate them. I mean,
right, and so the only difference that we have is I am confident that if I stand in that box and preach and just lift up my voice, that's not unconstitutional, it's not disorderly conduct. You guys say it is, and that's fine. And you say if I continue doing that I would either be cited or arrested. And therefore, I'm going to stop.
Okay.
And then we'll just contact our legal counsel and go from there.
All right.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Have a good day.
You too. Sir, do you have a card or something? Okay. I don't know if this gentleman, if he says he was forfeit. Do you have a card? Stoley said his name was?
No.
You don't have one? You just...
I gave you my name and badge.
You don't, right. You don't have a card?
No.
Okay. Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
Be able to spend like 6 months over there.